Did you know that the place where you keep your money can be blocking the abundance you so desire? Stay until the end, because in this video, you will discover the 7 places where you should never keep money if you want to attract true abundance to your life, according to Buddhist teachings. I will also share with you my favorite place where I keep a coin, and it has brought me a lot of abundance. But before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to the Buddhist Energy channel and activate the 1000 notifications so you will be affirming your commitment to a path full of peace, prosperity, and personal growth, where each teaching that I share with you will help you improve your life in a deep and meaningful way. Manifest with me in this month. I activate abundance in my life. Let's get started. And under the mattress. How many times have I heard this recommendation? How many times do people keep their savings in that place, thinking that they are sure that their money is protected? But today, I want to tell you a story that may help you understand the true meaning behind that old custom. Once upon a time, in a small village in the mountains, there was an old monk named Sen. He had devoted his entire life to meditation, to the deep study of the nature of being and the universe. Despite living in a humble monastery, Sen was known for his great wisdom. One day, a young disciple named Lian approached him with a concern in his heart. "Master," said the young man, "I have been told that I must keep my money under my mattress so that I never lack it. Everyone does this in the village, and they always seem to have enough. Is this right?" Monk Sen looked at the young man calmly and asked him to accompany him to the monastery garden. There, under an old tree, Sen le Elian, "Do you see that stream of water flowing through the stream?" The young man nodded, looking at the crystal-clear water meandering between the stones. "Water," continued the monk, "is like the energy of the universe. It always flows, it always moves. If that water stagnates, it rots, loses its freshness, and becomes a source of bad smell. But when it flows, it stays clean, pure, and vital. The same goes for the energy of money. If you keep it in a closed place, in a place without movement, that energy stagnates. No matter how much money you have, if you don't allow it to move, you will never be able to experience full abundance." You, and Liam, stood silently looking at the water in the stream, slowly understanding the depth of the monk's words, but he still had doubts. "So, master," he asked in a voice, "is it bad to keep my money under the mattress?" Sen smiled tenderly. "It's not bad, Ian. It's just that the mattress, like stagnant water, symbolizes the lack of movement. Money, like the energy of the universe, needs to flow. It needs to be in a place where it can move freely, where you can use it wisely to help others, to invest in what really matters, to grow your own dreams. When you keep it in a closed place, like under the mattress, you are telling the universe that you are afraid to let it go. You are telling it that you prefer money to be still. You stand without life." The young disciple thought deeply about his then words. How should I keep my money? The Zen master looked at him calmly and replied, "First, open your mind and your heart. Money is not just for saving, it is for using it wisely, for sharing it, for investing it. If you keep it only for yourself, without movement, without giving, without receiving, you are closing yourself off from the abundance of the universe. Remember, Lian, money is just a vehicle for energy. If you let it flow, it will not only bring prosperity to your life, but also to the lives of others." With that teaching, Yang understood that money, like all energy, must flow freely. Thus, instead of continuing to keep his money under the mattress, he began to invest in projects that really mattered to him, to help his family, to support his community. And most importantly, he stopped fearing the idea that his money could disappear, because he understood that what really matters is how it moves, how it is used, and how it helps others to prosper. So, my friends, money, like our lives, must be in constant motion. Keeping it under the mattress is a way of holding on to fear, to the fear of losing it. But the true power of abundance lies in letting money move, in allowing it to flow, in knowing that when we use it correctly and generously, it will always come back to us in surprising and blessed ways. Remember, dear friend, don't let money stay stagnant in a dark place under the mattress. Let it flow. Give it the freedom to move, to multiply, and you will see how prosperity enters your life in abundance. 2 in the wallet, or messy wallet to the wallet. Such a common object, so simple in appearance but so important in the life of each one of us. Sometimes we do not give it the importance it deserves. But dear friend, the wallet, like everything in the universe, is a reflection of what happens inside us. And even if you don't believe it, it can be a true temple of our financial energy. Let me tell you a story that the wisest monks have always told me. In a small town lived a man named Zhang. Although he seemed to have a quiet life, he was always worried about money. He had a family, but he always felt that something was missing, as if prosperity could not find him. One day, while meditating under a tree, he heard the voice of his teacher, the monk Wei Ejian. The master said, "I see that your heart is full of worries, that you seek prosperity, but you never seem to find it. What do you have in your wallet?" Ian looked at his master in surprise and replied, "Master, my wallet is full of receipts, old papers, some bills, and even some cards that I no longer use. I have always kept everything there, just in case I need it." Monk Wei looked at him calmly. "And your wallet is like a temple, Zhang. If it is full of clutter, old papers, things that are no longer useful, you are blocking the flow of financial energy that the universe wants to give you. How can abundance enter a place that is full of chaos? Money, like any energy, needs space to move, to flow freely." Zhang remained thoughtful, not fully understanding. "But Master, how can that affect my life if I keep my important things there?" Monk Wei smiled and explained, "Imagine, dear disciple, that each bill, each coin, each piece of paper that you keep in your wallet is like a seed. If you plant them in a messy garden, full of weeds, with no room to grow, those seeds will never bear fruit. But if you take care of that space, if you keep it clean and tidy, the seeds will be able to germinate and grow, bringing with them an abundance of fruit." John began to understand. The next day, he decided to follow his teacher's advice. He took his wallet, emptied it completely, and began to organize it. He discarded the old papers, the receipts he no longer needed, and kept only the little money, some important cards, one photo of his family, to always remind him of what he valued most. After a few weeks, Jean noticed something curious. Although his situation had not changed immediately, he felt a slight peace in his heart. He had created a clear space, a space for prosperity to enter. He began to receive job offers that had previously seemed unattainable in his home. Harmony grew, and with it, abundance began to arrive, as if the universe had heard his call. Thus, dear friend, the wallet is not just an object to keep money. It is a reflection of your relationship with abundance. If you keep it cluttered, with old papers and things that no longer serve you, you are telling the universe that you do not value what you have. But if you keep it clean, tidy, and with only what you need, you are creating a space for more prosperity to enter your life. Always remember that money, like any energy, needs space to flow. By cleaning out your wallet, you are cleaning your mind and heart, allowing the flow of abundance to move freely without obstacles. Just as a garden needs to be cared for so that its plants grow strong and healthy, your wallet needs to be an orderly place for financial energy to grow and multiply. And do not underestimate the power of the small, dear friend. Take care of your wallet, and you will see how, little by little, money will begin to flow more easily, like a river that advances without obstacles towards its destination. 3 in the messy drawers or desks are the drawers, the desk. Who among us has not ever kept something in those places, thinking they are out of sight, out of mind? Many of us have little hiding places where we keep our most valuable belongings. But, dear friend, if those drawers and desks are cluttered, if they are filled with papers, old stuff, and forgotten items, you are not only creating chaos in your space, but in your life. Let me tell you a story. One my teacher shared with me when I too fell into that trap. 2001, in a far-off monastery, there was a young monk named 51st. 51st was known for his wisdom and calmness, but like everyone, he had his moments of distraction. One day, while he was meditating in the monastery garden, his teacher, Monk Jin, was silently watching him. After finishing his meditation, Li approached Master. "I feel like my mind is full of confusion. I try to focus, but something seems to be preventing me from achieving peace." Li said this with a frustrated expression on his face. Master Jin looked at him tenderly and asked him, "How is your space, 51st?" 51st was silent, not understanding the question. "My space, Master?" "Yes, your space, your room, your desk, the place where you keep your belongings is tidy." 51st thought for a moment. "My room is a bit messy, but I don't give it much importance. My desk is full of papers, books, notes. I think I have everything under control." Master Jin smiled softly. "Go and see, 51st. Not only does physical space affect your mind also affects your space. The mess on your desk reflects the chaos within you. When your space is in disarray, the energy of the universe cannot move freely. Abundance, peace, prosperity cannot come to you if there are barriers blocking them." 51st, curious, went to his room and began to tidy up his desk. At first he thought it was a simple task, but soon he realized how many useless papers, old notes, and forgotten objects he had there. As he cleaned them up and rearranged everything, a feeling of lightness came over him. The chaos he had been accumulating in his space seemed to be reflected in his mind. As he tidied it up, something inside him began to tidy up as well. Master Jin called out to him again. "How do you feel?" 51st. 51st. He smiled, feeling much lighter. "I feel peace, Master, as if I had released something that was weighing me down." Monk Jin looked at him with wise eyes. Just as chaos in your space blocks the energy you seek, so does chaos in your mind block abundance. Money, peace, and prosperity are like water, dear disciple. They need to flow freely. If your space is full of clutter, like a river blocked by branches and stones, abundance will not be able to flow. Organize your space, and you will see how your mind clears up and the flow of abundance comes to you. So, dear friend, where do you keep your most valuable belongings? In a messy drawer? On a desk full of papers? This space, which seems to be just a physical place, is much more than that. It is a reflection of your mind and your heart. If there is chaos in your space, the energy of abundance will not be able to reach you. Organize your space, especially the place where you keep your money, and you will see how that energy begins to flow freely. Remember that clutter is a mirror of your interior. If you want to attract prosperity, you must first clean and organize the place where you keep what you value. Only when your space is clear and orderly will abundance find its way to you. Don't let external chaos stop the peace and prosperity you seek. Make order a practice, and you will see how everything begins to align in your life, bringing with it the fruits of abundance and peace. Why for in the shoes? Ah, shoes. Such an everyday object and yet so symbolic. Many have fallen into the habit of keeping money in their shoes, thinking that they are protecting it in some way, as if the ground could be a guardian. But let me tell you something, dear friend, something I learned from my teacher. Many years ago, in a small monastery nestled in the mountains, there lived a young monk named Yuki. Yuki was very diligent in his spiritual practices, but he was also somewhat superstitious. One day, he came up with the idea of keeping his money in his shoes. He thought that by being in contact with the ground, his money would be protected and safe, away from any danger. The ground is firm, he thought, and my shoes are a good refuge. One afternoon, while he was meditating in the shade of a tree, his teacher, the venerable monk Tenzin, approached him and asked him, "Yuki, where do you keep your riches?" Yuki, somewhat surprised by the question, replied, "In my shoes, master. I usually keep them there because I believe that they are protected." Monk Tenzin looked at him with eyes full of wisdom. "Do you know, Yuki, that the ground is where you walk, but also where you leave your footprints? Money, like any other energy in the universe, must flow. Keeping it in your shoes is like putting a brake on that energy, as if you wanted it to stick to the ground. The path to abundance is not static, Yuki. If money is tied to the ground, it will not be able to continue its path to prosperity." Yuki, somewhat confused, stood up and asked, "But master, are you not sure in my shoes?" Monk Tenzin, with a calm smile, replied, "Money should not be something that stays stuck to the ground, Yuki. Money is energy, and like all energy, it needs to flow, move, transform. When you keep it in your shoes, you are telling the universe that you prefer it to stay in a fixed place, without moving, without growing. Money is not found on the ground, but on the path you walk, in the opportunities that arise, in the decisions you make. Thus, if you want prosperity to come to you, you must allow it to flow, to follow its path, like the water of a river that never stagnates." That night, Yuki reflected on his teacher's words. The next day, he decided to follow Tenzin's advice. Instead of keeping his money in his shoes, he placed it in a more suitable place, a wooden box that was clean and tidy on a small altar where he kept other valuable objects. From that day on, Yuki noticed that his life began to change. Opportunities came unexpectedly, and his financial energy began to flow more freely. Yuki understood something that many people do. Money should not remain tied to the ground. It must follow the natural flow of life, move, grow, and evolve. So, dear friend, where do you keep your money? If you keep it in your shoes, it is symbolizing that you want it to remain fixed, without moving, tied to the ground. But remember that abundance does not come to those who cling to the past, to the ground, or to what is no longer useful. Money, like all energies in life, must flow, must move, must be free to expand. Changing that practice and allowing your money to follow its path will open you to new opportunities and a life full of prosperity. Let it flow, let it move. Let the path of abundance follow its course, without barriers, without obstacles. Only then will you be able to see how what you truly need comes to you. 5 in the kitchen. The kitchen is such an important place in every home. The kitchen is where life is created, where the food that nourishes our body and soul is prepared. But in the material world, the kitchen is also a space that can interfere with the flow of energy that attracts abundance, especially if we do not understand its true purpose. Let me tell you a story told to me by a friend, a wise man who lived in a small village near a monastery. This man named Taro was a man of great generosity and was always willing to help others. However, although he always had good intentions, something strange was happening in his financial life. Despite his efforts, it seemed that money never came into his life in a stable manner. Yusand could not understand why. If he was an honest and hard-working person, his prosperity always slipped through his fingers. One day, an elderly monk like me approached him and asked him about his situation. Taro, feeling frustrated, explained that he often kept his money in a small drawer in his kitchen, near the oven and the utensils he used to prepare his meals. "I keep it there," he said, "because it is a safe place near me, where I can see it and have it close at hand." The monk looked at him with a calm expression and told him, "Taro, the kitchen is a place of nourishment not only for your body, but also for your soul. It is a sacred space filled with the energy of earth, fire, and air. It is the place where you nourish your body and your family, but it is not the proper place to store your financial energy. Money, like food, should be treated with respect, but it should not be associated with what nourishes your physical body. If you do, you will be blocking the flow of abundance, because the energy of money should not mix with the energy of nourishment." Taro, confused, then asked, "Where should I keep my money?" The monk smiled patiently. Money should be kept in a place that is in harmony with its own nature, a place that is clean, tidy, and dedicated to its purpose. It cannot be in the kitchen, where the energy of nourishment and physical sustenance mix with the economic flow. Find a quiet space in a more suitable place, such as a small box in your office or a secluded corner of the kitchen, 2001. That will allow the energy of money to flow freely and not interfere with the energies of nourishment. Taro followed the monk's advice. He stopped keeping his money in the kitchen and placed it in a more harmonious place, a small altar in his room. Over time, financial opportunities began to come into his life, and his situation improved significantly. Taro understood that the kitchen, although full of life and vitality, was not the place to keep something as valuable and charged with energy as money. So, dear friend, reflect on this. The kitchen is a place of health, of life, of well-being. It is there that what nourishes the body and soul is prepared. But money, that powerful energy that circulates through our lives, should not be kept there. If you do, you will be blocking the flow of prosperity. Why? The energy of money must be in a place where it can move, grow, and prosper without interfering with the purity of the energy of health and nourishment. Keep your money in a space that respects its nature. Money, like water, must flow. It must be free to move and multiply. If you keep it in the kitchen, the energy that is associated with it can interfere with the balance and flow of abundance that you wish to attract. The right place is one that keeps its energy clean, calm, and in balance with everything around you. Remember, my friend, that prosperity, like health, must be nourished, but it must never be confused with what already nourishes your physical body. If you want abundance to flow into your life, carefully choose the places where you keep your money, and you will see how, little by little, the doors of prosperity open before you. 6. In a food bank or in storage places. Save money in a food bank or in storage places. This, while it may seem like a sensible practice to some, is fraught with a mindset that, according to Buddhist teachings, can hinder the flow of abundance. Let me tell you a story to illustrate this concept. Many years ago, in a small village near the mountains, there lived a man named Hiroshi. He was a good-hearted man, but he always lived in fear. He feared that if he didn't have enough money saved up in case of an emergency, his life would be overtaken by poverty and lack. So he began to keep his savings in an old trunk that he kept locked in the basement of his house. Every time he received some money, he would rush to put it in that trunk, convinced that he was securing his future. But as time went on, Hiroshi began to notice that although the money in his trunk was increasing, his life was not improving. At work, opportunities for growth were slipping away, and his life seemed stagnant. He did not understand why, if he kept his money so carefully, Yo-san did not experience the prosperity he so desired. One day he met an elderly monk on a nearby road. The monk, seeing his concern, asked him, "Why do you keep your money in that chest?" Hiroshi replied, "I do it because I want to make sure I have enough in case something bad happens. I don't want to be left with nothing." The monk smiled with deep tenderness and said, "Hiroshi, money should not be treated as something to be hidden or hoarded out of fear. Keeping it in a dark, secluded place like that symbolizes a scarcity mentality. Abundance does not come to those who fear losing what they have, but to those who have confidence in the flow of life, in the prosperity that the universe offers us. When you keep your money in fear, you are trapping it, and in that trapping, you block the flow of abundance that could come to you. And Doshi, intrigued, then asked, "What should I do?" The monk replied, "Instead of hiding it in a dark place, keep it somewhere where it feels safe, but also where it can grow. Don't be afraid to let it go when necessary. Abundance comes to those who trust and have gratitude. The fear of losing what you have only attracts more scarcity. Free yourself from that fear, and you will see how money and prosperity flow to you naturally." With those words, Hiroshi understood that fear was what had really kept him in a cycle of scarcity. He decided to change his way of seeing life and began to keep his money in a more accessible place, in a space that gave him confidence and security, but without fear. Over time, not only did his financial situation improve, but he also began to see how opportunities and prosperity came in unexpected ways. The lesson that Hiroshi learned, and that I now share with you, is that abundance flows when there is trust in the universe, when there is gratitude, and when we stop seeing money as something that must be held onto out of fear. Storing it in storage places where we keep it hidden and locked away only reflects a scarcity mentality that blocks the natural flow of prosperity. In Buddhism, we are taught that money, like any other energy, should flow freely. It should not be hidden away in a dark corner, as if we were protecting it from something. True security and prosperity come from living with confidence, knowing that the universe will provide what is needed, and acting with generosity and gratitude. By doing so, the energy of abundance will move freely to you, like water flowing unhindered. If you have been keeping your money in a food bank or storage facility in the hopes of protecting it, I invite you to reflect. Money should be kept in a place that gives you confidence, but it should also be in a space where it feels free, where it can grow and multiply. Why don't keep it in a place where you only watch it with fear? Abundance is a constant flow, and only when you trust this flow instead of trying to block it, can you truly attract prosperity into your life. 7. In living room drawers or cluttered furniture. Clutter is a simple but powerful concept. Many of us in our daily lives, 2001, keep money in drawers, furniture, or in any available corner, believing that they are safe there. It is such a common practice that we don't even think about its deeper implications. But according to Buddhist teachings, clutter is an obstacle to the flow of abundance. Let me tell you a story that will help you understand this better. Many years ago, in a village surrounded by mountains, lived a woman named Aiko. She was a hard-working woman, wise in her ways. But something in her life seemed out of balance. She always had money, but she never seemed to be able to keep it. Aiko lived in a small house, but something strange was happening. Her drawers, cupboards, and furniture were always full of scattered objects. Old papers, letters, clothes she no longer wore, broken utensils, and in the middle of it all, a little money here and there hidden among things. One day, while visiting the temple, Aiko spoke to the old monk about her problem. She said, "Master, I always work hard. I always have money, but I can never keep it. I feel like abundance is slipping away from me." The monk, with his serene gaze, asked Aiko, "What is your home like?" She replied, "My home is full of things, but I also have my savings stored in various places, in drawers and furniture. That's where I keep my money." The monk smiled slightly and said, "Go to your house and look at your drawers, your furniture, the places where you keep your money. If those places are full of unnecessary things, of objects that are no longer useful, what kind of energy do you think money can attract?" Aiko felt confused, but decided to do what the monk suggested. When she got home, she began to clean. She opened every drawer, every piece of furniture, and discovered that there were not only forgotten things there, but also an accumulated emotional clutter. By removing unnecessary things and cleaning those spaces, she felt a release, as if something inside her was beginning to change. Once everything was organized, Aiko noticed a sense of clarity, not only in her home, but also in her mind. She began to keep her money in more organized places, in boxes where there was only what was necessary. And suddenly, she began to feel abundance flowing to her. Not only did the money seem to multiply, but her life in general began to take a new direction. Business prospered, opportunities came, and more importantly, Aiko began to feel an inner peace she had never experienced. What you do in your environment reflects what happens inside you, the monk told her later, when Aiko returned to the temple. When you keep money in messy spaces, you are closing the door to abundance. By cleaning and tidying up those places, you have opened a space for prosperity to enter your life. This is a fundamental principle in Buddhist teachings. Clutter, even if it seems harmless, acts as a barrier that blocks the natural flow of energy. In a cluttered home, money has no place to grow, move, or prosper. If the places where you keep your money are filled with objects that no longer serve a purpose, abundance cannot find its way to you. So, dear friend, remember that order not only brings clarity, but also opens the doors to prosperity. When you keep your money in a clean, tidy place dedicated exclusively to it, you are telling the universe that you are ready to receive more. Abundance not only comes to tidy homes, but also to minds and hearts that know how to make room for the new. And I invite you to look around you, observe the drawers, the furniture, and do a deep cleaning in your home. Do it with intention, with the desire for your life to flow more harmoniously and for abundance to find a place to stay. And remember, when order reigns in your space, it also reigns in your life. Now, I will share with you the best place to keep money and attract abundance. It will even work if you keep a single bill or coin. You don't have to put everything. One of the most recommended places in my experience, and that I have always used, is a wooden box or a small altar in a special corner of the house. Wood, which is a natural material, is associated with the energy of the earth, which represents stability and abundance. It should not be a common box, but something that symbolizes respect for what you keep in it. This is also a practice of reverence towards money, as if it were a seed that must be cared for. The important thing is that this place is clean, tidy, and free of any unnecessary objects. Put your money there, but do not do it in a disorderly or hurried way. Keep your bills and coins with intention, knowing that each cent is a manifestation of effort, but also a channel for the abundance that flows to you. And above all, do it with gratitude. Gratitude is key in Buddhist teachings, because by being grateful for what you have, you create a space for more to come to you. I suggest that the place be in a part of your home that transmits calm to you, such as a corner near a window where natural light can enter, or next to a plant that is growing, which symbolizes vitality and the blossoming of abundance. Remember, money is just a form of energy. When you give it the proper space to grow and allow it to flow, you will not only attract prosperity, but you will also be cultivating a harmonious relationship with it. An orderly place full of positive energy is the best environment for abundance to find its way to you. Now that you know the 7 places where you should never keep your money, it is time to make changes in your life. After January 1st, begin the new cycle with the energy of abundance flowing in your favor. Remember that money is energy, and like all energy, it needs movement, order, and harmony to prosper. Do it today, clean out your wallet, organize your spaces, and choose places full of positive energy to keep your money. And if you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, like it, and share it with whoever needs it most. May abundance always be with you.